All right. How we doing? We have made it. Yes. So, welcome. We're here. Yeah, literally. Like you just clicked on this link and now you're watching the video. So, that's awesome. What we need to do all is we need to set up our video game cover in Photoshop. That is our first step in our major project, our first major project in CAD class. Now, a few things to look at. The instructions are here for you, okay? So have a check, okay? Make sure that you do look them over. I will open them because we do need them. Extremely important, of course. Aside from following the instructions, we need it for this to get set up. Okay, this setup will make up 4 of your marks. So just watching this video and following along will get you 4 marks. Fantastic, right? Beautiful. Okay, so a few things I wanted to cover off. First off, now we have a few video sites. I've added this to the instructions, and I do apologize for maybe not mentioning this in class. If you're looking for photographs, now remember, sorry, to just back up a step. Remember, this is going to be your front cover used in your GDF class proof. So the comp that we created in Graph Design Fundamentals class, I will only need to see the front cover of that. Okay. Now we're going to do the spine and the back in the coming weeks, right? That will actually be our final project, number 3 actually, when we bring all of the pieces together. Okay. I want us to focus in on Photoshop. I want us to work in the program and create a beautiful cover. Yes, and we're going to use 2 images and a beautiful title. Okay, so that's called out here. What I need from you. All right, so those are the requirements. Right, we're going to need obviously a name, effective type. Right, ensure that it's dominant and clear, and then we are going to go and find 2 photographic elements that will relate to your cover. Hopefully the one that we did in Graph Design Fundamentals, you can emulate utilizing pictures. No matter how simple it is, I'm sure there are images that we can use to represent your Graph Design Fundamentals video game cover, okay? Which is awesome. Now, a few things I wanted to make mention. I gave you some sites here, and I'd love you to check them out. These are royalty-free sites, okay? So if you're having trouble finding images, okay? That being said, probably, if anything, you'll have a... If I go into Unsplash, let's try that first, okay? Images, perfect. See that? So I have, say, a rock and roll cover. Now, if I put rock and roll, we now have all of these, right, at our disposal. Awesome. Cool. So now, if I were to grab one of these, and I say this is one of the ones that I want to use, fantastic, right? So I'm on Unsplash, gonna click download, save. Okay, it's going to ask you to please say thank you, and you're going to say okay. I'm currently not going to do that. That's okay. I do appreciate it, but we don't have time for that right now. I'd highly recommend you give a shout out though where you can. Now we are here in Graph Design Fundamentals class. We are in our I have a majors and assignments folder. Okay, and then I also have a video game project folder. Now you'll notice what I did here is I created a folder in my video game main folder, and I created it Photoshop cover. I would suggest when moving forward with this project that we go in and we create another folder. Right? We'll do game company logo. Yes, that will be the next one. You'll then create another folder and call that out as overall layout, InDesign content, something like that. Just break it down if you'd like. I guess at the end of the day, we have it because we have it here as a generic or general. Then let's break it down per assignment, okay? Now within the assignment, what you'll see that I've done here is I have images to use, and I've got working. So I created these 2 folders, okay? I'm not gonna create them, it's just right-click new folder, right? Make them, name them. Within here, what you'll find is I already have a few pictures that I grabbed from Unsplash, and it's as simple as just going into your downloads, dragging and dropping. Always get organized with our images, right? There we go, perfect. So now I've got that, right? I've got that beautiful guitar in there now. All right, cool. So what we need to do is we need to create a Photoshop cover. So that is your Unsplash. As mentioned, check out Pexels, Pexels. Pixabay is another great one. They are royalty free also, just kind of throw that out there. So If you have if you want to use the cover for anything, it's going to be a PS4 cover. So already we're under copyright restriction. This is totally only for your personal use. I just want to stress to that, of course. At the end of the day, though, go to Staples, get it printed, cut it out. Yes, get it printed on cardstock, even nice and thick stuff. Score it on the spine, cut it out, fold it up, take out, you know, Kirby's Big Adventure on PS4 because that's not a thing. But take out that slip and slide in. What I mean is take one that you don't play anymore and, you know, you're like, no one's going to buy this either. Okay? Take it out, slip it in. You now have a beautiful portfolio piece, right? Yes, it took a bit of added work and you had to go to Staples and get a, you know, 1117 printed. But hey, how beautiful is that to start, right? If we haven't started our portfolio yet, that's a great add, right? Add in. Now, I have this one here that I worked on in the last video. Yes, this is take 2. Sorry about that. My audio crapped out for some reason last night, and that's okay. Take 2. So what I'm going to do here is let's go into Photoshop now, okay? And I'm going to just create that cover. Yes, amazing. Oh my goodness, I got to clean my desktop up. I know, I just mentioned that already. So here we go. First step, we're here in Photoshop. Yay! And look at that, we've been doing Batmans and all this fun stuff. Now, we need to do something that looks like this, right? We have our dimensions, don't we? And our dimensions, oh, I've already set it up for you here. I want everyone to start here, okay? So we're going to just go in, depending on what you may have. I'm going to guess many of us are going to have something that looks like this instead, right? And the reason being is we just finished Batman, and this was the spec that we had for a Batman. Yeah? Cool. So I'm just going to start fresh. We're going to go here. What I'd like everyone now to do, let's get set up and get some added marks. I'm going to go in and make sure we name the file accordingly, right? So go on in here, and yeah, we're looking for some people to hire our third-year grads, so I'm kind of doing an all call out. So here we go. Sorry, what are we doing? What are we doing? Name. There we go. Perfect. Now here we go. I'm going to literally copy and paste this into my name field. Why not? Your name, right? Let me go here. It's a PDF, so you can actually select like so. I didn't know if this was to work the first time, but it does. So I'm going to go here, and what I'm going to do actually is take this one. This is, you'll notice, proof. Now, this is not a proof. This is going to be our actual cover. So what I'm going to do is just do this. Take it from there, right? Copy. Good. Right-click. Beauty. Go into Photoshop now. Paste. Hey, check it out. Let's change this up. Your name, of course. Don't put it as your name. Right? Yeah, we'll go here. Just first name's fine. Good. Okay. Mitch Major 1 PS4 cover. Beautiful. 6x6. This is the great name to call it out, but not actually, I'm not getting a PSD file, which we'll go over in a second, and we went over in class, but just to kind of call it out. Now, width, let's have a look. This is where we need to look at this here, okay? And sorry, this is a sample of actually what I'm going to need from you, okay? So we're duplicating and we're doing this right now. So we're setting it all up and yeah, it's beauty. So, of course, your cover. This is just a sample of mine, but you guys get the idea. Here we go. 5 inches wide. Oh, I've got to fix that. Look what I did. Ah, dude, I moved it over to make way for this and amazing. Okay, 5 inches wide by 7 and 1/8 high. I'm going to start out in Photoshop, make sure that I get my width and my height to trim. This is the trim size. I'm just going to call that out, just like in Photoshop, or in just like in making our impose. Trims, right? That's where our crop marks are going to lie for the printer, okay? Here we go. We know that it is 5 in our width. I know that it's 7 and 1/8 in our overall height. Now 1/8, if you want to go back to your ruler sheet, you can check out what 1/8 is. In decimal form is 0.125. Don't do that. I got it for you here. There we go. Now this is where I want to start. I'm going to start with my overall trim size. Cool? We want it at 300 pixels in inches. RGB is perfect. All of this is good. Now, we discussed CMYK in Illustrator in Graphic Design Fundamentals class. Always, 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 always in Photoshop, RGB. Don't change this into a CMYK. We work in RGB for Photoshop, okay? It's where we want to start with, where we want to be. for 97% of Photoshop work, okay? We then convert it to CMYK at the very end. It's our last step that we do before we send to the printer, okay? Number one, it's going to jack your file size up. It's going to be quite large. Secondly, main reason, you won't have all of your options available to you in Photoshop if you do CMYK. Okay, it just does not work with a CMYK printer workspace or mode, right? Where all of our bells and whistles and so on will be deactivated. We don't want to do that. We want to stay in RGB so we have full spectrum of tools. You get it. Let's create. Just wanted to call that out if you're wondering. Not only that, we talked about color shifts in Illustrator. Again, I just wanted to mention, I mentioned this in class, the color shifting that occurs in Photoshop with images is nowhere near or as severe as a color shift in vector art, which we'll look at or have looked at in Graph Design Fundamentals, okay? With that vector form, right? And going from RGB to CMYK. Okay, that being said, let's move on. Now, first step, ready? Command R. Go ahead, do that with me. Command R. Hey, great short key. We're going to use that all the time because you're going to show and hide. Typically do it once though, because I always would say that you want your rulers on. The reason we always want our rulers on is because this is where we have our guides. And if you click and you drag a guide out, look at how awesome is that. Nice and quick and easy, yeah? Great. Command Z, 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 Z. Let's have a look at a few things here. Probably a few things turned on, maybe. I have snap turned on. I would highly recommend for this step, please have it turned on. Snap is going to be great because it's going to ensure that it snaps, our guide snap to the outside perimeter of this document. That's why we started with it at trim size. It makes it really, really quick to snap, literally. Oh, look at that. Snap to our, sorry, I had this box on my, sorry if that was annoying and you were getting a buzz through that. I'm finding things out as I go. Sorry, and you're like, no, the fan wasn't on, and that's all good. It's all good. So snap is on. Rulers is where they show and hide. You'll notice that's Command R. Great. A few other things to just call out. Look at all these different things to show and hide as per guides, right? So we have our show and hide grid. We have slices, and we have all this stuff. You have snap to guides. I maybe go on here, everyone, and put maybe snap to guides. Check this out. You have snap to document bounds. How beautiful is that? I would put that on, right? So we have a few snap tos on. We may be turning them on and off depending once we get into Photoshop. You're finding maybe your images are snapping to weird things and you can't figure it out. This is where we always want to look. Sometimes we may accidentally turn snap on because we do our command, and I'll get there right now. Have the look at another short key I'm going to show you here. Again, works in all Adobe products, at least the ones we deal with. Command semicolon, which is right beside your L key. Command semicolon. Check it out. Neat, eh? That's show and hide guides. Really handy. Especially since no one really, I mean, guides are fantastic, but they're not, you know, they can be distracting when we're trying to just get an overview and take in our design piece, right? So that's command semicolon. You can move guides at any time. You can actually go here and we can just, right, boop, move it up and get rid of it, okay? You can clear guides as well within that guides thing. I'm doing it manually just to show you that that can be done, okay? And we'll go here. Now, start fresh one more time. You ready? What I'd like everyone to do is start at the top, okay? I'm gonna zoom in here, okay? So I have a nice, that spacebar command, right? Zoom in. Now, grab a guide. Cool. You should, because we have snap to on snap, check it out. That should just like, we have snap to document bounds. It should snap there. Boop, snap, good. Let's try it over here. Snap, good, right? I'm gonna just zoom out for a sec. That was with my command, right? Spacebar command, zoom out, or spacebar command option if you have the legacy turned on, which I do, and snap. Okay, beauty, good, or scrubby zoom actually. There we are. Now we've got our first, hey, look familiar? That's our Graph Design Fundamentals class with our trim lines drawn in, right? Our crop marks will be on these corners, won't they? Now this won't be a crop mark. This will be a fold mark because remember we have spine, back cover, yes? As mentioned in this class, we are going to take care of the front cover only, okay? As per your Graph Design Fundamentals comp. So we're gonna emulate that as close as possible. mention this in class and I'll mention it again for anyone who's like, but dude, I've got things on my spine and my back that are photographic elements that I can't wait to bring in and use. Okay, if that's something you want to do, let me know. We'll get there, okay? That's going to be more for the final piece, okay? And I'll make that an optional for everyone if you want to do that. And what we'll do is you can then create your spine and your back within this file. I don't want you to do it now. I want us to just all be on the same page, like literally, and then we'll go from there, okay? For now, it's all good. So that's kind of just a precursor. And here we go. Now, I've got this snap to guide bounds, yeah? This is good at snapping to 0. We know a few things. Live area is here, our margin. Typical live area, all we know is what? About a quarter is what I was saying. For a document of this size, I may even do 3/8, 3/75. Now, as you're moving your guides around, check this out. Hold shift down. Nice. Holding shift, check it. Snap, 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 snap. Snaps at 1/8 of an inch. How sweet is that? That makes it really easy to get this bang on as we need it to be. So I'm going to go here. As mentioned, 3/8 is right here, 0.375. That, if I were doing this up as, say, a flyer or something, I may do 0.375. I may, dare I even say, I might go even to 1/2 an inch. This is more where I would say the majority, you know, it's up to you. It's your live area. But I want you all to understand that we want to have that beautiful matting put on. Now, video game covers, that we've done some investigation, and I'm sure you've maybe had a look at some video game covers, right? We are aware that those video game covers have next to almost no margin. They're right on the edge, okay? That being said, I figured if we're going to do this, let's make it as real as possible. And I want our live area maybe to match and be the same. Do this with me. Grab a guide. Let's go to the top and we'll start here at 0. Notice you get your Y value, which is really cool. And that's really helpful because that's going to allow me to then make this at, and if we have a look at the instructions, 0.125. Okay, so you'll find that here, 1/8 of an inch. And I do call out, I did it in Graph Design Fundamentals. I do call out the reason that it's like this is because of, you know, oh no, that's the spine. Anyway, don't worry about it. Okay, I just mentioned. So do this, snap, yep, shift, drag down, 0.125. See that? Let go. That's it. That is our live area. That is our margin, okay, for the 1. Now let's do it for all 4. Go here, snap, shift. The more you zoom in, the more what's the word I'm looking for? The tighter the increment. So see how I'm zoomed way in here? Now if I pull a guide and use shift, notice how I can do it even smaller increments here, I'm pretty sure. And 1/16 or even 32nds of an inch, okay? If you zoom out, the more you zoom out, it was like that as of last, maybe this update did change it. Who knows? I don't know. I just live in the world. So we're here at 5 in the width. Now, we know 1/8 of an inch minus 5 is what we need. Oh my goodness, I know. It's in the morning. You're watching this. Hopefully you're not watching this in the morning. 875, okay? So 4.875 is where we need it. You can almost do that visually just by looking at your live area and knowing that your guide here is set up beautifully like so. Good. Now, last one. We'll go here, snap to the bottom. So 7 1/8 shift. You'll notice that Photoshop does not like 7.125. For some reason, a pixel size just happens to not fall on a 0.005. I don't know. So you'll find that your 0.5 will always be a 7. Don't stress out about that. Just the way it is. We are talking about less than a 32nd of an inch. Not going to have an issue or bearing of anything or any kind. Just I wanted to mention that. You're going to stress maybe about this. It won't match. Okay? Makes sense? Just thought I'd mention it. Okay. It's all good. We are officially ready to rock here, all. This is pretty much almost all I need. Okay? Last step is extremely important. Our bleed. We did bleed in Graph Design Fundamentals class, and our bleed is exactly the same size as we put it in Graph Design Fundamentals. I did not call that out here, did I? Okay? We should know that our bleed is at 1/8 of an inch, always. That's okay. I'm telling you now. We're good. We're golden. We're setting it up. Go here. Image. Canvas size. This is beauty. Now, canvas size is different from image size, and in that canvas size, and let me just do this here. Let me just grab an image, and we can kind of look at both bleed and also, maybe I'll just open up any image here. I have, of course, had Photoshop cover, and I had images to use, and maybe I'll grab, there we go, right? Beautiful. And I'm just going to grab this image and drag it over. Oh, how cool is that already, right? Beautiful. Beautiful, look at that. I got my video game cover. Not much of a video game cover. This is more like a, you know, history of rock. Sorry, I'm kind of going because my video's dying, so I'm kind of, it's all good. We do what we do. There we go. Now I'm plugged in. Good. So sorry to give anyone anxiety there. It happens. I haven't had it die on me much. Okay. So there we go. We've got this file, right? Beautiful. Image size. If I go to image size and I want to change the image size, and I'm like, okay, cool. My customer now, instead of a 5x7 and an 8, they want, I don't know, they want it to be a 10 in width. And if we hit tab, right? Notice I do not have constraint on. So what happened here is it's making it 10x7. So I'm going to hit OK. Watch what happens. Come on now. OMG. Never do this. Oh, gosh. So that being said, let's try that again. Okay, we're going to click here. You probably had that clicked on anyway, but just saying. Never squish. I'm going to make this instead of 5, 8. Cool. So this is now an 8x11 size document because we're changing our document size. Our client's like, I want an 8x11 instead. Okay, good. You know what's going to happen is your client is going to come back and they're going to say, Mitch, instead of 7x5, can I get a 4x3? And you're going to go like, oh my goodness, 4x3. Well, a 4x3 doesn't look anything like this in proportion. 4x3, if I do a 3 high, oh shit, it's actually okay, let's say they want a 4x10. There, that's a better, right? We can't get a 4x10 out of this. It's going to be a 4x5. That's in proportion, right? If your client though is insisting and they love your artwork, but they just want you to kind of crop it off, how are you going to make it like a 4x, you know what I mean? Canvas size is where it's a beautiful thing because canvas size allows us to adjust the canvas size while the image size and everything else will stay intact, meaning the artwork that's within the image, yes? So what I mean by that, let's try this and I'll show you what I mean. Canvas size. I need to add bleed. Top, yes, side, right, bottom. Now we call this out in class. To the left, there will not be bleed because it is the spine, right? So check this out. You actually have a directional arrow this here, and it's really handy. And what I'm going to do is bring that over to the mid bot, like right in the middle. That being said, if we have a look at this again, we have bleed on top, bleed on bottom, we have bleed on side. We know that our bleed is 0.125. It's 1/8 of an inch. There's no bleed on the left side. Okay, cool. We know that's good. Now, we got to do some math. Oh, man. I know, sorry. Width. 5.125. Okay, good. I'm going to go here. Height. Now, 5 and an 1/8 for the right side. We now have an 1/8 and an 1/8, top and bottom. And we're at 7 and 1/8. So an 1/8 plus an 1/8 plus an 1/8. Remember that on the test? 375. Amazing. And that may even go to 377. I'm not too sure. I think it may. And then we're going to hit OK. Amazing. Check out what just happened. I'm going to undo and redo. See the bleed? Because I used canvas size, notice how I was able to add bleed in. See that? Command, if you ever want to do a redo, Command Shift Z. Command Z, Command Shift Z. That's undo, redo. Command Shift Z. Command Z, Command Shift Z. Check it out. Cool. So this is really beneficial if you accidentally forget to add bleed to your image. Yes? So say you're in InDesign, you've got all of your image placed. The cover that you've got, though, you just realized the printers come back and they're like, dude, you did not give me bleed on your front cover. You go back to your image and you're like, oh man, thank goodness I did design it so I do have bleed around the perimeter. And sometimes you may accidentally have something like this, which I've run into many times. And this gets a little frustrating. Sorry, let me take a step back here. There it is without bleed. Okay, so there's the edge of my image. And if we go here to the edge, there we go, right? Now your the printer comes back and they say, dude, I need bleed on this. And you're like, oh, shit, I forgot about my bleed. Now, if I go and use canvas size, oh shit, not image size. We can't do it with image size. If I go to canvas size and I do the same thing, and I add my bleed in, 0.125 and 7.375. Oh shit. This is an issue, right? Typically, you can do this without your customer maybe knowing, but in theory, there's only a few ways we can do this. We have to either, one, enlarge everything on the page that it won't be hopefully noticeable. Two, use the clone stamp. And yes, I've had to do this before, because when you have a client sending you images and you're the one pre-flighting it and you have to fix it, and it's 12 o'clock midnight and that has to go to press and you don't have live area or you don't have bleed on an image, I will pull out my clone stamper and I will clone in the background. This one's nice and easy. Sometimes it's a pain in the ass depending on the image, yes? This is where this is where bleed is really important. And again, can be a pain in the arse if you don't have your artwork going to the edge or past the bleed line, yeah? Make sense for everyone? So let's get visually something a little nicer. Look at that, isn't that nice? There we go, cool, there we go, right? So we got our guitar, we've got our title, we've got another image we're gonna bring in. We're gonna play around with blending modes and some cool stuff, right? Maybe I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna open up, what else we got? I know this isn't, we did this in class, and this isn't one of them, but how cool is that? And then maybe what we'll do is I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna go Command Option drag, and then I've got this dude here, Command T. I know I'm going really quick, but just to kind of get a cover done up. Don't hold Shift when you constrain or scale objects. It will be needed in InDesign and Illustrator, but not in Photoshop. They have done this thing now where you don't hold Shift anymore. So there we go. This cool dude. Look at that. Okay, and then we can do something like this. Look at that blending mode. How freaking cool, right? And this, as mentioned, is a great way you can kind of blend images together and have a really neat look and effect. How simple was that? Two images laid on top. Now your Graph Design Fundamentals cover obviously may not lend itself to something like this, but that's okay. You know, you can mess around and play around and have some fun with it. Is this working for a video game cover? Not so much. Is this working maybe for a cool poster? Maybe, don't know. But yeah, have some fun with it. Now, we're not quite there though. I'm gonna just do this. I wanted to, that was just your bleed and getting everything set up, okay? Perfect, we're almost there. Last step I need, you'll notice, is the bar on top. Okay, please, that's an important aspect of a PS4 cover. All of them have it, okay? We are going to use our shape tool, amazing. I typically would suggest we do this in InDesign. It's more of a vector graphic that we would place as a box. The reason being it's really nice in InDesign to move objects up and down side to side, especially when you have a cover that's photographic, because you don't want to constantly have to go into Photoshop, make an adjustment to it, then bring it back into InDesign over and over and over again. Working with objects, logos, type, etc. in InDesign makes it really easy to just move elements around, and it's golden, okay? Hence the reason that we're doing this, to get our hand on all three and kind of, you know, understand the process, so it's beauty. Now, I have a background. What I'm going to do here, everybody, is I'm going to start, look at this. I'm actually going to extend this pass. See how I did that? Remember we talked about bleed? Just in case our customer comes back and they're like, okay, actually, you know what? I digress. What I'm going to do here, let's go right here to the edge, okay? So here, do this with me. I'm going to zoom in. Sorry, take a step back. Rectangle tool, right here. Underneath our, right? You may have a circle or something like that on, line tool, whatever it may be, but click and hold, make sure you get a rectangle. Is it M like it is in, oh, it's U. Okay, cool. So U is your tool, whatever tool may be active at the time. Now here we go. I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna go right to the corner, see that? Click, and I'm gonna drag. How awesome is it that we have our width and height there available to us? I know, and maybe I'll just lay this down for a sec. I know that my square needs to be 3/4 of an inch from bleed, which is exactly what we're doing. Yes? Now, I'm going to go Command T for a second and go back into it. So notice how I could do that all. I actually went in. Command T allows me to go back into transform. So I can then make the transformation on this object. Also, that width and height stays there beside. Oh man, that's so awesome. What a beauty thing. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to make this height of 3/4 of an inch, right? So that would be height of point. Oh, what am I doing? Sorry. Height. There we go, 0.75, right? And try holding shift down, see what happens. It'll constrain it, of course. Oh, sorry, it constrains it. Never mind, I'm losing my mind. I forgot, that's Illustrator. 0.75, let's just get close here. 0.75, yeah? Good, I can't zoom in on that little window, so you're gonna just trust me on that, do your best. 0.75 looks something like that. Yay! Now, here's a little tip though, because we know that Photoshop does this and constrains it. We need to hold shift down if we're not in the actual shape tool. So I'm going to hold shift at this moment and I'm going to just drag this over like so. How cool is that? So again, it's nice that the shift key does use it, but now they flip the shift key to then constrain something. Anyway, it's all good. Hit return. Yay, we got it. We've got a gray box. Now I don't want a gray box, do I? You ready? Do this with me. Let's go in and check out a PS4 cover. I'm going to go here, PS4 cover. I'm hoping all of us are doing this anyway. Hey, this is cool. Check this out. All right, look at that. Shadow of Mordor. And I'm going to go here and I'm going to copy it. Okay. And I'm going to go here and I'm going to bring that in here. And I'm going to go Command V, paste. All right. So maybe we notice copy and paste. We can literally do that directly from Google, which is kind of neat. We don't want to do that though. Oops, that's not the appropriate way to do it. Also, you'll find I promise that this dimension that I gave you is the proper dimension for a PS4 cover. I'm not sure what happened to this one, but I went on many sites and I actually, yeah, so I promise this will fit into your PS4 case cover just fine. Now, what I want to do is I'm going to go here. And I'm going to maybe just put this down here, okay? Now, the only reason I'm doing this is I want this banner right here. See that? That's our PS4 banner. And I'm going to give you this logo as well that we will then place in InDesign. So you don't have this, and please don't put a PS4 logo on your final piece, or at least not on this piece. We're going to get there, okay? We don't want to have a vector logo in a rasterized program, okay? That being said, yeah, I know there's smart objects and so on, but yeah, it's good. Okay, moving on. You ready? Sorry, rectangle. I'm going to steal colors from here. So all I did there, if you kind of got lost, everyone, is I just right-clicked, copy image, paste image. That's it. Right in it. Okay, which is kind of neat. So I'll get you right there. Now that this is here, okay, sorry, let's click here. Let's get out of there. Don't need the guitar open anymore. I want to just emulate this kind of blue grade. Yes? Now do this with me. Go into shape. Good. So now shape is on. Going into your rectangle. Shape is on. We have rectangle on. I'm going to go here. Let's just move this over to the right. Now in our properties, let me even just hide some of these things for a sec. There we go. Over to our right, we have properties, and this is where we did this for our Trumpy egg, right? Fill and fill. Amazing. What I would like you to do is click on the fill either up there, or you can click on it right here. However you want. Okay? Whatever you're happy with. I'm going to go here. Now, remember within our fill, we have this. Check it out. Right away, it snaps to that grade, that default grade black to white. Cool. Let's do this. We have all of these available to us. Okay? I'm going to go, instead of 90, make it a 0. Yay. So now we just changed black to white. Now it's at a 0 degree. You can make the manual move if you want this way. I really wish that the gradient tool in Photoshop would just allow you to work with symbols or images or objects like this. That's to come, I'm sure, in the coming editions. So that being said, sorry, 0. Good. Now that we know we're black to white, let's do this. You ready? This is really neat. And we did this actually by, remember we were sampling colors within an image. Do that with me. You ready? Go here. Double click on this black box. Now we've got the eyedropper tool. It's going to open up your dialog here, but I'm going to eyedrop. Hey, neat. Now we're taking this color right from the PS4 color. How cool is that? I'm going to say okay. Now I need to add maybe a few other points here. You'll notice it goes really kind of dark, then light, then a little tiny dark, and maybe my eyes, but that's kind of what I see. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to add in a point right about there. And all you have to do is put your hover over top of the line of your gradient and click. Good. Double click. Move over here, eyedropper. Click. It'll automatically come up. The eyedropper will automatically come up. Okay. If you have to move your color dialog, right, just move it to the right, get it out of the road. Good. And then we hit OK. Same deal. Double click on this one. And I go here and I'm going to click. Amazing. And get light as we can. Something like that's great. Hit OK. And this one I noticed I've done it once already because this is my second video. I'm going to go here and let's just have a look at this color. And I'm going to go there. And I think it is maybe different or not. I don't know. But check it out. That is pretty damn close, isn't it? Good? Earmuffs, sorry. Damn's not too bad. Okay, good. I'm happy with that, right? And then check out our live area here is kind of interesting in the corner. You'll notice that, you know, the Warner Brother game lines up really nicely at that 1/8 of an inch, right? And these logos line up beautifully, right? Anyway, it's all good. Now, what we need to do next is very simple, and we're just going to go in and we're going to delete this. We don't need that anymore. We got what we needed out of it, and now we're happy. Please do not steal objects and elements from pre-existing anything. Try to find, if you can't find something in Unsplash, or you can't find something in Pixabay, or you can't find something in Pixels, then write rock and roll. Hopefully I don't get anything wrong. So rock and roll, yes. Now, here's where we can have some fun with our images. Again, try not to steal maybe artwork. This is a Photoshop project. This is for personal use only, right? We're not going to go out and print mass quantities of it. I want you to just play around in Photoshop. We're going to pretend like our client has access and has paid for rights to these images. If you want Elvis, okay. I still would suggest look for high resolution images, right? There's a home barber. There's our Elvis. This is pretty crappy, right? Pretty low res. Also, don't do it this way because remember, we assess our images. I'm kind of cheating here, but there we go. Viva Las Vegas, baby. You guys are like, what? Who's that? Okay, don't do that though. Save your image first. I know I kind of cheated there. Save our image, open the image, make sure we can assess the image, make sure it's big enough. Yes? And we'll be golden. Now, that is in essence what I need you to start with, everybody. Let's do a Command S. We're going to save. Photoshop. Working. And save your PSD file in your working file. That way it's always there for you. Okay? Always, always, always save, save, save your PSD. Now, when we get into InDesign and you're all done with your front cover, maybe you've decided to do a spine and a back, we still will want to flatten it like we did for the last project. Yes? Flatten image, save as, 150, bada boom, bada bing. Beautiful. We're good. I might even just change this up to header so it's not just general rectangle. Good to go. That's it all. Hopefully that you found that helpful and got you at least to the setup. Now we can have fun in Photoshop, right? Enjoy. So I got nothing else for you. Have a good one. We'll see you on the flip side. Take care all.